I am First Fruits. This is a chapter by chapter Bible study series, and we're on Psalms chapter 2. It's looking a little different in my house today. We're actually moving to Tennessee in just a few hours. So if there's an echo or toddler roaming around, forgive me. Let's get into the word. This is a very important Psalms because the New Testament talks about it a lot. And it's even mentioned in Revelation a few times, and we'll get to that. Why do the nations rage and the people plot in vain? The kings of the earth take their stand, and the rulers conspire together against the Lord and his anointed one. Let's tear off their chains and throw their ropes off of us. The title of this Psalms is Coronation of the Sun. At least that's what it says in my Bible. I have a CSB. I'm going to tell you what a couple interpretations of this psalm is, and then you can kind of figure out what you think. Many historical scholars believe that this was actually a part of the coronation of either David or some of David's successors. In Judaism, they just see it as a continuation of the first Psalms. In Christianity, we see it as messianic. A messianic psalms pointing us to Christ. Even though it may have been used for a coronation or an anointing of a king, it still points to Christ. Right there tucked into the end of verse 2, it says, against the Lord and his anointed one. The Hebrew word for that is Mashiach, meaning Messiah. Anointed one. They anointed every single king that they put on that throne. Even though it was an earthly throne, they anointed that earthly king for God's purposes. One enthroned in heaven laughs. The Lord ridicules them. Then he speaks to them in his anger and terrifies them in his wrath. I have installed my king on Zion, on my holy mountain. If I threatened someone and they laughed at me, I would be scared. Laughing in the face of a threat shows some intense confidence and authority. First is the calm laughter and then the sharp rebuke. 7. I will declare the Lord's decree. He said to me, you are my son. Today I have become your father. Ask of me and I will make the nations your inheritance and the ends of the earth your possession. You will break them with an iron scepter. That's important. You will shatter them like pottery. So now, kings, be wise. Receive instructions, you judges of the earth. Serve the Lord with reverential awe and rejoice with trembling. Pay homage to the Son, or he will be angry. And you will perish in your rebellion, for his anger may ignite at any moment. All who take refuge in him are happy. Other translation says, blessed. Authors in the New Testament explicitly use the Psalms over and over again to explain Jesus' life and his authority and the resurrection. In Acts 13:33, Paul applies it to the phrase, you are my son, today I have begotten you, to Jesus being raised from the dead. And in Hebrews 1:5, it uses the same verse to argue that Jesus is uniquely superior to any other angelic being. Hebrews 5:5 cites it to show God himself appointed Jesus as a permanent high priest. And then in Acts 4:25 through 27, the disciples pray using the verses 1 through 2 identifying Herod, Pontius Pilate, and the Gentiles as the rulers conspiring against God's anointed one, against the Messiah. This Psalms promises a king who will inherit the nations and rule the ends of the earth. And this global reign may have been inaugurated by Jesus himself when he gave us the Great Commission, and he said that all authority had been given to him. And here's where that iron scepter comes into play. It's in Revelation, talking about the future judgment of the nations when Jesus returns. Revelations 12:5, Revelations 19:15. Check it out. Oh man, that's crazy. This warning to earthly rulers gives us hope, helps us feel blessed that we take refuge in him, and we even get to look at Revelation and what is to come. God laughs. We are blessed, and he is good. Thank you for watching this 4 a.m., and I'll see you in the next 4 a.m. when we cover Psalms chapter 3.